What's up, y'all? What y'all been up to this past week?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on with you?
This week, I've been trying to focus on what I'm gonna do after I'm through with school and I have all my time back.
That's not a bad thing to focus
So
on.
I'm like, what am I gonna do with this time now? Because I don't want to spend it just wasting it. Now that I see how many hours I can squeeze into the
I'm telling you,
day,
because you want to be careful, you'll end up like me with like, oh, now I'm doing some of everything.
and I feel like that's where it's about to go. But it'll be fine. I'll make it work in
But
my favor.
exactly. See, and I think here's the thing. I think that's where also me and you kind of thrive. Because it adds a certain level of chaos
Yeah.
that we actually like, but we won't really admit
I
that
want
we like.
controlled chaos.
Yes. And I feel like what I do is control chaos because everything is mine. Like if it gets out, it's because I put it out. If it doesn't, it's because I chose not to.
Yeah.
But I always have something to do. And I feel like you are similar to that,
I'm
where if
fine
you
something.
have too much idle time,
I'll be doing dumb shit.
you will get in trouble.
I have to be productive to stay productive. If
I'm
that's
telling you,
so,
I will. Yeah, I'm telling you, I will stay in so much trouble if I'm idle too long. I'll end up doing stupid shit.
did I know better?
Just know better.
Because I'm bored.
And I'm also a troll, so I will. I'll get bored and start trolling people.
Why do people do that?
Because I'm bored.
What do you gain?
Entertainment.
I have never gotten bored and said, I'm finna be a troll today, bitch.
Now, granted, I don't go and start shit with people. Not that kind of troll. I will go and like if I see somebody post something, I'll just go and start commenting and just be like, "Oh, okay, I see you did that."
That's not a troll. You passing out compliments.
Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, why does all the trolls have to be negative?
I wish they over here just giving random compliments.
Like I ain't gonna do like the guy did yesterday and be like, "Oh, this sucks. You guys need to delete this." Like I ain't gonna do shit like
now
that.
that's a troll.
I'm not that kind of a troll. Like I don't care enough about nobody else shit to do stuff like that. But I don't know. This podcast has made me realize just how different I am from people. And maybe I'm not, but the people that comment, for the most part, there's like one person that will consistently comment and will say like, "Oh yeah, I agree with this, I agree with that, blah blah blah." But for the most part, nobody really says anything. So I'm just left to think I truly am just different from a good chunk of the people. And I'm just like, I just don't care enough about what the general public has going on.
Because why would you?
Exactly.
I'm fighting for my life over here.
I got my own shit going on. Like
well, I
that's
know what's going
I'm
on in the news, though.
See, I don't.
The news is sad, but I still watch it. It's sad, but I'm still gonna watch it.
I refuse to watch the news.
Why?
Because of the bullshit that they put in the news. A good chunk
it's very curated. It's very
curated. A lot of the times it's meant to manipulate. It's meant to keep the separate parties separate. It's like it just drives, to me, the media drives a lot of the bullshit that goes on in this in this country. So
they stir the pot.
Yes.
They stir it.
And I'm not participating.
But I like local news.
Even the local news. Well, I guess
I learned about stuff in the city. It's not like it's innocent stuff like, oh, there's a arts fair on this day.
There's always an arts fair. And you know who else tells me about the arts fair? TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. They tell me about the art fair too, because I've sent your ass a few of them. Like, hey, this is coming up.
Facebook real good about events. I ain't gonna lie.
It is. Facebook is good.
I learned about many events.
But like my mother watches the news a lot.
See, I don't watch it a lot. I like skim to know what's going on. I can't watch news all day. I can't do it.
I think that's where I started to get my dislike from the news, because I felt like my mama watched the news like it was a TV series.
No.
And
that sounds terrible.
I remember just watching. I'm like, none of this shit is good, and the little shit that is good, don't nobody give a fuck about. Like, I don't want to see your news anchor trying different foods. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know why they eat food on air. I don't
give a
this
fuck.
This show is good. Like what?
And then if you watch it on this one channel, Trump is the greatest. You watch it on another channel, he's the worst. And I'm just like, it's clear as day which party is running which one, because they are making clear stances on what they think, which I think media should stay away from.
Too late.
Exactly. You shouldn't be making a hard stance if your whole goal is just to inform the public. Why do I give a fuck what you actually think about the president if your whole goal is just to keep us informed?
Because it's not.
So I won't watch it.
I'll still be watching it.
And nothing against people that do watch the news. It's just not. It's not for me.
I like keeping on the update on what's going on in my city.
You know, people have told me before that I live in a bubble, and people tell me it's not good, and I'm like, I'm happy. I'm happy in my bubble. I said, because ask me when I actually found out COVID was a thing.
Girl, when they sent you the letter in the mail.
I never got a letter in the mail about COVID.
Your job did?
I found out that COVID was like I knew people were getting sick. I knew that. Like, it didn't take the news to tell me that. But don't that happen all the time? Something happens that people were getting sick and blah, blah, blah.
They sent the whole little newsletter about it. Well, because remember the beginning, it was so strict when they finally cracked down. Talking about you couldn't be out driving unless you had official paperwork.
And I did hear about, because at that time I was going to the gym all the time, and they would have like little things that would say about it. And what I thought at the time, I said, I'm gonna be out here late anyway. Fine by me. I won't leave out my house. I said, that's perfectly fine. Stay 6 feet away from me. Perfect. How about we make it 10? I don't want nobody near me. Like, to me, the whole shutdown, I enjoyed the shutdown.
We all enjoyed the shutdown, and this is the problem. We don't want to be out here no more.
The air was never
cleaner. I swear,
exactly. It was never crisper. Like, the way I would be outside just taking joy walks.
Everything was empty. It was so good.
It was so empty. And I was just like, this is perfect. But I didn't really know that like COVID was as bad as it was until they sent us home. And I was just like, oh.
Is that bad? Yeah, I knew from the beginning, like, oh.
And I was just like, and while everybody was panicking and stressing over COVID, I'm just in my bubble, just living life happy. Like,
everybody would be living it up to say, what do I do? Girl,
I was so happy. I was just like,
but that's why they say ignorance is bliss. You're like, nope, I don't want to know nothing.
And when they started talking about sending people home, I was like, I went to one of my, I said, so what's going on with this with this illness that's hitting everybody? And then she told me about it. I said, oh, okay.
It was bad.
I mean, yeah, I know COVID was bad.
I do miss,
but again,
just being
the
in
news,
house.
It didn't take watching the news to figure out that it was bad.
Well, yeah.
So that's my whole take. Is like, I just don't think I need to watch the news.
I can't not watch the news. I have to watch the news.
I refuse.
I'm old in that way. Because I don't watch the news for reinforcement of my political beliefs, though. And that's what a lot of other people do, which they should not be. I'm going literally to get objective information. I'm not there
but objective information is getting harder and harder to get on the news.
It's subjective on what they feel like is the data. I'm like, I just want to know some general stuff.
Speaking of, so you know how we got that clip that is taking off right now in Canada?
Yeah.
Canada, you know what? Y'all showed up. Y'all showed up. And we appreciate that y'all did. Now, from what I can tell, ain't none of y'all convert over to actually watching the full episode. Hopefully y'all will, but y'all showed up in the comments.
Sure did.
And most of y'all understood that me and Jay were not saying that y'all need to be referred to as Americans.
Yeah, we just stating what someone else said. This is not our personal views. It's just
because so
there was some confusion.
What I liked about there's some things that I liked and some things I didn't like about the responses. And there's always going to be some responses that we don't like. That's just human nature. People are going to say things that we don't particularly like. And for the most part, everybody was saying the same thing. We're Canadian. I'm not American. It's offensive to be called American. I don't like America. I don't like anything American. Like, is what a lot of people were saying. But here's something that raised alarms with me. There were people that would say, like, yes, it is. Somebody actually said, I would rather be bit by ticks than be called American. And I was just
what's your obsession with someone? Have you even been?
Yeah, it's like,
have you even been?
And I just thought about myself. And that's where I say maybe I'm different, because I will tend to say, I won't just go off the deep end and make a generalization about a whole country group like that.
Like I
couldn't imagine if somebody came to me and was like, are you Canadian? I wouldn't get so offended by it that I would be like, oh, I would rather damn near die to be called a Canadian. Like,
just like, no, I'm not.
No, I'd be like, no, I'm not Canadian. Move on with my life. I mean, granted, you can look, hear, whatever, and know that I'm a U.S. citizen. But, and like I said in that episode that clip came from, when I hear the word American, I think super, super patriotic. Like red, white, and blue, everything, everywhere. That's what I think of when I hear American.
Navy.
Literally.
Flag t-shirt.
Oh, say, can you see? That is what I envision when I hear the word American. So most of the time, if somebody asks me where I'm from, I'll say I'm a U.S. citizen, because that's a normal person. Like, you ain't to the extreme. Like, and when some of them were responding, it gave the impression that that's also how they view the term American. And I was just like, that's like, we're all North American at the end of the day.
Literally right next to each other.
Literally right next to each other. Why are we fighting? And then somebody was like, well, your leader, this and that and the other. I was like, hold up. Let's not start calling each other names now. Because if you've ever watched this show, it does not take much to realize, no, we do not talk about politics on here at all. And that is on purpose. But we have said enough about it to know that is no leader of ours.
We didn't vote for him.
Sure didn't.
So who's leader? Because I ain't vote for that man.
And I hate those blanket statements too, because then that sends the impression that, oh, it's the whole country. We just on board with everything Trump is doing. I was like, so does your media not show you the people that's protesting against Trump, that's trying to undo all the stuff that Trump has done? Like, do they not show that, or do they only show you the Trump supporters?
I'm sure it's only the supporters. And then,
if your algorithms is only showing you the Trump supporters, then you have, at some point you have to look inward and be like, I wonder why my algorithm is showing me only Trump supporters. Is there a reason for that? Is that to keep us fighting?
They don't think that far. But then also, a lot of people from different countries really do base how they feel about people off what they see on TV.
Literally.
Which is wild, because that's highly curated. You can't say that because you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta that you know Americans.
No.
That's not how that works.
And I'm just like, the thing that really bothered me, because that didn't really, like, to me it was alarming, but it didn't bother me. The thing that bothered me was that there were some people from Canada saying that, like, when they travel to foreign countries, that people will think that they're American because let's be for real, until you hear a Canadian talk, you don't know that they're Canadian unless you're like an American or Canadian.
Yeah.
But if you're like from Europe or something, you like,
looks same to me.
Same to me. But a Canadian said that yes, she had been called American while like traveling in Europe and stuff like that before. And she said that, and she wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people in the comments that said that this was true, that they are always treated rudely in other countries until the person finds out that they're not American. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is fucked up. I said, because essentially, I'm like, is that not discrimination?
Yes, it's discrimination.
I was like, because I feel like that is like the definition of discrimination. You are mean to them just because you think they're from the U.S. What kind of bullshit is that?
I mean, that's what they do.
And it's confirmed. I can't even say like, oh, that's what I think. I have
many people have said that
in the comments saying, yes, this happens. I'm Canadian, but when I go somewhere else and they think that I'm American, they will be rude to me. And when I tell them that I'm Canadian, I will get treated better. There were some U.S. citizens in the comments that said, yeah, I've actually told people in foreign countries that I'm Canadian so that they treat me better. And I'm just like, that's so fucked up.
But then on the flip that we be doing to people, not we as in you and me, exactly. But what Americans do to people when they silly asses go out and travel. They have put that bad mouth, that bad taste in people's mouths.
And those are the people that I would call American. You know what I mean?
But they don't understand that though. And they think one for all, and that's not how that works.
Look, United States is just in the name. Like,
it's so many people.
That's just a front.
And it's crazy because America's actually quite diverse. So I don't know why they 100% view it that
is
way.
So diverse. Yes, we have bad people here. Like, yes, there are terrible people in the US. But you know what else? There's terrible people in Canada. There's terrible people in Europe. There's terrible people in Asia. But yet, I have not met a single person from the US that when they hear about Canada, Europe, Asia, all those places, they're not saying, oh, they're just terrible people. Usually we're just like, oh yeah, they over there. I hear they're really nice. And I keep it moving.
But that ain't the vibe.
But you bring up the U.S. apparently, and it's like, oh, they're all just some Yankee Doodle bitches down there.
Yankee Doodle.
I fucking hate the term Yankee anyway, because I'm like, how the fuck did the U.S. get labeled Yankees?
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like the word Yankee. It just sounds stupid. But yeah, like we got called Yankees in the comments. I'm just like,
golly,
damn, I'm just down here existing, y'all. Like we ain't even trying to start no beef. We just trying to have a little hearty har,
little hee, little kiki. Like we don't want nothing.
We ain't trying to start no drama. If anything, we want to bring everybody closer together because I just don't understand the fighting. I don't, especially when. Like I said, you get people in the comments that throws out these
shadeful remarks
terms talking about our leader without actually knowing if we consider that to be our leader. Like, and this could be my ignorance. I don't even know who is over Canada.
The prime minister.
I thought it was prime minister, but I was like, I don't want to say it and be wrong. I don't know who he is.
I forget his name, but yeah.
But I'm like, I don't live there, so I don't need to know.
Why do you think you don't need? We all need to know.
Why?
Because we need to know.
Why?
You need to know what's going on.
With who?
Everybody.
Why?
Girl, I watch the global news. I'm watching everything. The local, the national, the global.
Until it starts impacting me, I really just don't care.
Because it makes stuff make sense. Like, you could tell based on what's going on in the news.
And then I start hearing politics. I'm like, it's political. I don't care.
The thing is, but sometimes the political shit is important.
I get you. And I don't disagree with you. I just still don't care enough to actually look into it. And I know a lot of people disagree with that. To me, honestly, the fact that I won't partake in really any party to a lot of people is just as worse as picking one. So like,
yeah, I don't feel that way. I'm like,
there are people that's just like, you're not a part of a party.
You don't have to be a part of a party. I don't find that odd.
It's like, no.
Because most people are in the center. They're neither to the right or to the left.
Because, and I said this before, when it comes to politics, you have some absolutely terrible Democrats. You have some absolutely terrible Republicans. You have some absolutely terrible liberals. Everybody has the bad people. You just have to pick the lesser of the two monsters.
That's the tug of war we've been juggling.
My thought is, so in the next election, if to me, because your voting is supposed to be your opinion, if I find that, you know what, to me, this round, the Republican is the lesser of the two evils, I'm voting Republican. If I decide it's a liberal, I'm voting liberal. If I decide it's somebody I want to write in the vote, I'm going to write it in there.
Mickey Mouse get votes every time.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Santa Claus, Mickey Mouse, and Jesus Christ.
Because Jesus is my president.
Exactly.
Jesus on the main line. Tell him what you want.
You know Jesus on there.
I'm always on the main line with Jesus. But yeah, I just was very surprised. One, I feel like because Canada does have the reputation of being nice people, that they, or some of them, might think that we feel that they can't push back and fight back. Because somebody was like, said something about we're Canadian. That's a good way to show you that we can be brass and we don't fight fair. And I was just like,
what are you talking about? Who said you couldn't?
I was like, so do you really think that us down here in the U.S. just sitting up down here thinking that Canadians just up there just frolicking through the fields every day or something?
I think they base how they feel about us on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, I'm really starting to believe this. It's starting to...
I was like, look, I said, for one, I've seen Letterkenny. I know that y'all can be just as brass and just as unfair when it comes to fighting.
I just don't know where that came from.
As an American can.
I didn't get it. I said, where did that come from?
I was just like...
No one said you couldn't.
I said, but who said that y'all couldn't be brass and fight and not fight fair? If you fighting, why are you fighting fair?
Stupid.
So I was just like, okay. Like, most of the comments I didn't respond to because honestly I didn't have anything to say. Because they literally were just saying, I'm Canadian. I'm like, yeah, we said the same thing. But it was the stragglers that I was just like,
interesting.
You know, some of y'all, I can tell that y'all just really don't like the U.S. And that's the part I don't particularly understand, because when people do talk about why they hate the U.S. or people from the U.S., they'll start describing us in these ways. And I'm just like, I just don't.
Stereotypes.
It's the stereotypes.
And if you also want, have you actually spoken yourself to one? No, they haven't.
I would also like to see because I do hear that the U.S. does dominate a certain portion of their media, like news on the U.S., which
U.S. buying everybody media.
Which honestly, if I was in another country and I had to watch the U.S.
news is everywhere.
Yeah, I'd be a little annoyed too, because I'm like, they don't, like, the whole world doesn't revolve around the U.S. Why are we watching their news? But at the same time, that ain't got shit to do with the U.S. citizens. We ain't telling them to turn on the U.S. news at 9 p.m.
We don't know what they do.
Right. At least I'm not. Nobody I know is. Because just like I don't see their news, my assumption a lot of times people don't give a fuck enough to watch it.
Oh, but they do watch it. Girl, the thing is, everybody swear they hate us, but everybody watches. That's all I'ma say. They all say they hate us, but you know more about my country than I know about yours.
They damn sure do.
And that's that. We gonna leave it there.
Especially when it comes to politics, you know a hell of a lot more about this country than I do, because I
know.
No, I'm talking about them.
No, I'm saying you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm just like, it's it was just a little eye-opening. Like some of the things that I'd heard, like other countries don't like the US, don't like people from the US. I've heard that my whole life. But for the
most part, most of that shit is rightfully so. I ain't even gonna act like it ain't. A lot of it, honestly, but then a lot of it is just old stereotypes passed down.
Exactly.
From maybe somebody actually did have a slight, but the other generations didn't actually have a slight. They just know somebody else did and dragged it along.
To me, that's no different than when we tell people that you can't hate a whole race because one person did some shit to you. You can't hate a whole country because you saw 5 people acting a plumb fool in the middle of the street.
Yep, it'd be that simple.
Literally. I'm like, so it's the same logic. We tell people that you can't hate a whole race because, you know, your great grandma got robbed by a black person when you was 6. Like, we say that's not right.
But we've heard that story so many stupid times.
But then when other countries talk about how much they hate the US, and then you ask them why, and it's like, oh yeah, because, you know, they told me that I should speak American in my in my country. Oh, like, yes, that's stupid for them to come to your country that you live in and tell you that, but at the same time, that's not the whole country.
We didn't know.
So right. I don't know him, so I couldn't stop him.
But then on the flip, in our schools, we teach in other languages. Oh, you can't graduate without it. You can't graduate without it.
Somebody literally was like, you know, somebody from Canada. They said they were from Canada, and they was like, and unlike an American, I speak 5 different languages. They act like learning new languages is an allergy or something. I said, I don't know one person in the US that doesn't want to learn a different language.
I'm sure there are, but it's like, it's not that the opportunities aren't there. Now, we are spoiled, and that everybody, the thing is, here's how I feel about it. People want to learn English because Americans have money and they spend it. If you don't want Americans, more of your people need to be buying shit then. And that's, it sounds, I'm like, people come because where Americans go, dollars go. And it's just that simple. And they say, if you want to make money, you got to know how to speak to them damn Americans. And that's just how. But again, we learn a whole bunch of languages in our schools. It's not like we only learn English in school.
It's a requirement in
Can't graduate without doing a language.
It's a requirement to learn a new language. And again, I know, hell, I'm learning Korean. I've learned sign language. Like, I mean, at one point in my life, do I still remember it? No, because I don't know anybody that speaks sign language, so I don't use it. But I'm like, I wonder where this all came from, that Americans don't want to learn new languages, don't want to visit outside the country. It's just like, what? Who told y'all this? Because it's not true.
It's repeated over and over. And the thing is, it's repeated over and over again from people who've never actually experienced nothing. They're just repeating it over and over again to different people.
Yes, our politics is fucked up. But honestly, whose politics isn't fucked up? It's just ours is more center stage in the news.
It's more visible.
Yeah, that's why you get so much. It's more visible. Tell your media to stop playing so much, you know, US reruns. Because it's the same shit, different day. Like, let's be for real. Anyway, I digress. But I do like having the engagement from people in Canada. We don't hear from people in Canada enough, honestly. Because, you know, we want to vibe with y'all too. We want to make y'all part of the circle.
We like friends.
Sure do. But anyway, so... you know, you keep your hair cut short. Mm-hmm. Are there any like controversies or anything like that centered around it?
No, just at first people was thinking I was a lesbian, and they would flat out ask me. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I just don't want to have hair. But now it's more of a movement, so it's less of that. People don't assume that no more.
Well, there's things in the lock community.
Like what?
this week was some chick posted on TikTok, and she was talking about how if she has locks that goes, to her bra strap, she should not have to pay extra because her locks are long for the reties.
That's not how that works.
And I commented on it, and honestly, I need to correct myself too because it wasn't completely true. But I commented on it. I said, you know what? I can honestly understand that as far as like the hair length, because your new growth is not that length. So I was like, okay. And I said, my loctician actually, or beautician, because she does not like being called a loctician because she is licensed to do hair. But I said she charges based off how much new growth you have. If you have, I was like, it usually starts at, 4 inches of hair and then it goes up from there. And I was like, and I think that's reasonable because people with their new growth and locks, they be having enough new growth to be damn near a whole new install. And I'm like, so I said, I get it.
Yeah.
Or I said, it's understandable. That was my wording. And the number of people, I made that post like at least a month ago. And people are still commenting on it saying, that's not understanding. I said, to you?
What are they mad about?
I said, I don't understand.
So do you want to be charged by the new growth or the actual length? Because you got to pick one. It's not free. Which one is it?
And they're like, that's not understandable. And I'm sorry.
I don't know why that's not unreasonable.
I'm just looking like, then it's not my fault that you can't comprehend that. I'm like, I actually had to respond to somebody yesterday and say, I said, people with locks go crazy with the new growth. I've seen a lot of new growth on locks. And I said, and for them to think that it is okay to pay the same amount as somebody that has way less new growth.
That's not how that works.
That's not how that works. And I'm like, and then the more new growth you have, the longer it takes them to actually do it. You don't want to pay them for that extra time that they have to spend on your head because
they're losing money.
Yeah. So I was like, it makes perfect sense. I don't understand why this is an argument.
I don't get it. I don't even have locks. I'm like, this don't make sense.
And then at the end of the day, my thought is, if you don't like it,
don't go to her.
Don't go to her. It's really that simple. Don't go to her. Don't try to put these businesses on blast because they have a different business model from you. That's what I don't like. Unfairly targeting businesses to get people to stop going to them. You don't like that she charges by how long your hair is? Go somewhere else. That's her business model. Now, if she mistreats you, that's another thing. Yeah. Blast her ass for that. But don't go talking about they don't want to they want to charge me X number of dollars because my hair goes down to my ass crack.
And that's not really what you being charged for.
I'm like, come on now.
Well, of course, I'm like, it's longer. It's more for them to do.
So I'm like, I just don't understand that mentality of, with the lock industry. Because they do. Some will do charge by the number of locks, which Sister Locks kind of does a lot too.
Yeah.
No, they don't. But in the Sister Lock community, apparently, like, knowing how many locks you have is, like, important to some. Because I cannot tell you, almost every person that I meet that looks at my hair and knows that they're Sister Locks will ask me, do you know how many you have? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't care how many I have.
Who's counting it?
Some of the locticians will count it when they install it. And I'm like, no. I'm like, my loctician told me I have roughly 500 to 600 locks. Do I know the exact number? No. Am I going to count it? No. Do I want to know? No.
That's weird.
I don't understand why it's important. But yeah, I'm like, I've seen a lot of new growth on locks. I couldn't imagine going to a loctician with 6+ inches of new growth and expecting her to charge me the same thing that she charging somebody
with only 3.
With only 3 inches.
That's not fair to the person who going.
I'd be so fucking mad. Let me find out my loctician was doing that. I'd be like, hold up. Why am I paying the same amount as her? And you have to spend twice as much time on her hair.
I need a price reduction.
A price reduction. Like, yes, ASAP. Because what we doing here? Because then I feel mistreated. I feel bamboozled.
People always want something free. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I was just like, look, and like I said, people might disagree with me, but shoot, our editor might disagree with me. She has locks.
I don't see nothing wrong with the by the inches. I don't get what the problem is.
I'm like,
I don't get it. I'm not gonna ever use it, but
you have options. You do. You could not go to her. You can go to somebody else. You can learn how to do it yourself, or you can get rid of the fucking locks if you can't afford to maintain them.
And it ain't cheap.
Depending on the type of locks that you have.
Please.
Because these damn sister locks.
Expensive.
Whew. It's over $200 a pop to get my reties done. And I think that's reasonable.
Yeah,
it's, again, over 500 locks here. My hair also grows pretty fast.
That's why I can't do it. Because I'll be one of them with them 6 inches. Like, oh.
But the good thing is I only get my retie done like every 8 weeks. So every 2 months.
That ain't bad.
And I'm like, that's doable. Now, if I was having to do that every 2 weeks, every month, because you know how we used to iron our hair out every 2 weeks, and I'm not doing all that. But anywho, that was something else I saw. I was like, I don't know why is this
a problem?
Exactly. Why is this a problem? Because that's how people want to run their business. Like, let them just go somewhere else. Or, I don't know. Maybe it's going to help them find the person that they looking for. That's not going to. And then the people, I don't know. Because I'm like, the people that ain't charging you by the inch and stuff, how the hell are they making money?
And that's the thing. They want people who ain't smart enough to make no money. And it's like, they always want something for free.
I mean, they charge you your nail prices when you get your nails done changes based off of length.
Them nail prices. They think we don't remember, but I do.
Now, those are scams.
I was like, this is the same quality shit I was getting for $30.
Probably
this
even
was
worse.
The same shit, because gel polish was around then too. It's the same shit. And it was only extra $5 for gel. Anywho.
So I got something exciting coming up in a couple weeks.
Let me move my hand.
Or actually, by the time this comes out, I probably will have already gone. But in July, the first week of July, I'll be in ATL. I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia, for a podcast summit.
Ooh.
It's a 2-day thing, July 2nd and 3rd. And I'll be going the 1st through the 4th. Or to the 4th. I'll be coming back on the 4th. But it's supposed to be like really good. It has what is it? B. Simone?
Oh yeah.
She's gonna be there. Okay. Quite a few people are gonna be there as speakers. And they're supposed to teach you about like how to monetize your podcast, how structure, and just things to learn about the podcast industry and the back end of it. So I figured it would be nice to be there, and a great networking opportunity, which reminds me I need to get business cards for a girl's perspective. But yeah, so I figured it would be a great opportunity. I do think it's going to be extremely overstimulating.
Oh yeah. And it's going to be hot.
And it's going to be hot. Luckily, I will be staying in the hotel that the summit will be happening in. So if people see me out in ATL, say hi. Whether I look mad or not, because apparently that's just my default. I promise I'm probably singing a Stray Kids song. But yeah, I'm excited to go down there. It just made a year that since me and you went there last year. Which means it's also just made a year that I had my car.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I just got it like 2 weeks before
fresh.
We went. Yeah,
put out on my phone.
Fresh. Yeah. But we did get some questions from our friend in the Discord.
Okay.
She just had a couple questions. Because apparently people like when we go on our little tangents and start singing our little bops.
Yes, a little boppity bops.
She said it takes her down memory lane.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, you know, we know the 90s and 2000s music.
Yeah.
And beyond, honestly, because my mother is a boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's boomer. Mm-hmm. She could be.
No,
is she Gen X? No, she's boomer.
No.
So I also know, you know, the 70s songs, the 60s songs.
Parents listen to all of it.
Literally. But she asked, what was the last music video we watched? Were we into music videos at any point? And do we have any favorite videos? And did we listen to Drake's new album?
Let's start with the Drake's new
Okay.
I didn't listen to it.
I haven't listened to it either. I want to, though.
But Mo listens to it, and I be in her car. And she loves his new album.
I've heard it's really good.
It. She's like, y'all can't make me hate Drake.
Yeah,
it did. The thing is, it sounds similar to old Drake. When I used to love old Drake.
I used to like old Drake.
Show Me Later, Drake. Good times. But
yeah. So
was it Thank Me Now?
I thought it was Thank Me Later.
Thank Me Later.
It's something like that. Y'all know what we're talking
about.
But I've heard a lot about the Drake album, and I do plan to listen to it.
It don't sound bad. I won't hold you. It didn't sound bad.
Drake's music ain't bad.
People they starting to dislike him as a person. It has nothing to do with his actual music.
Yeah, like I don't even know the man as a person, so
that's what people are saying. They don't like him as a person.
But yeah, so I do plan to I do plan to listen to that album. Although I also heard that he either already has or plans to have a music video for every song on the
he pulling a Beyonce. Album. Okay,
maybe.
She perfected that.
But I would say yes, I was very much into music videos when I was younger. Now I didn't have the same resources that people with cable had. Like I didn't have MTV. I didn't have 106 in Park unless I was at a cousin's house that just so happened to have cable. All I had was the box.
I remember the box. We had cable though, so we had cable. And, you missed it. It was such a time.
And the only time, like the box was on from this time to this time on one channel in Chicago. According to Nate, it was actually on all the time here.
Yeah, the box, it was just the box you turned to it.
No.
What was it 47? I think it was channel 47.
I don't even remember what channel it was in Chicago, but I do know there was a program that came on before it. And I would always see the credits rolling for it when the box was getting ready to come on. And that makes sense that it was already on because sometimes it would start off and I'm like, the video was already going.
They go, oh shit, they were cut it off.
So yeah, that's really what I had available to me as far as videos, unless like I said, I was at a family member's house that had cable that gave us access to things like MTV and 106 in Park. Because 106 in Park was my shit.
Loved it.
Free and AJ?
Loved it.
That was my shit.
Loved it.
The Top 10 Countdown? TRL? Frida's World?
Frida's World.
Like I didn't have cable, but I did. That's how you know I was into videos because anytime we've talked about cable, you would bring up like Disney Channel shit, and I'm like I don't know, but I knew all the video spots because I loved watching videos.
I mean, what else could we do? We did not. Everything we did was around music. Like everything we did was around music. Everything.
I remember. I don't think I ever had a favorite video. But I definitely have a video that I remember the most out of everything.
And which one is that?
It used to scare the shit out of me. Every damn night. And every damn night it was on when I would open my eyes. And it was right at the point when he was turning into a goddamn monster. It was a Busta Rhymes video.
Girl, which one? He always turning into some shit. Which one?
Give Me Some More.
Oh,
when he was a kid and the kid is like running or walking, and then all of a sudden the eyes start popping out, and then he started getting. I was like, that is weird. I don't like this. It making me feel icky. I don't like it.
It's such a good song.
It's such a good song because I love the song, but I was like, I fucking hate this video.
But he always had weird videos.
Busta Rhymes was my shit though.
He was my first crush. I told you.
Serious. We can make you delirious.
He was my first crush.
You know, he wasn't mine until he cut his locks off.
He was mine with the locks. I forget which video. He was just so brown and shiny. And his teeth
I
so
will
white.
say the video gonna make
yeah, with Janet Jackson.
That was when I started looking at Busta. I'm like, Busta, what you doing? But when he cut the hair off, I was like, oh, that's what's up, Busta.
Yeah, he's cute. He's my first crush.
Busta Rhymes is a handsome man. But yes, that video, anytime I think about the box, I think about that video.
Makes sense.
And I don't know how it was being
that's
timed,
so random.
But every night I would wake up in the middle of the night and that video would be on. And
I'm gonna watch that video.
And I would be it would literally be at the point where that little boy is turning into a monster. And I'd be like, every night I wake up to this shit. So, but that's my
random.
Literally. Did you have any favorites?
No, I was just watching all of it, living my best life. I didn't have any favorites. Of course, I watch videos. When I think back on school, it was mainly, I could tell what year I was in school based on songs. Everything was based off of songs. I could hear a song go, yep, that was this grade. That was that grade. Oh, good times.
Yeah, but 106, what was the last music video you watched?
But I watch them on YouTube.
Yeah, I watch videos now on YouTube.
The last
if I watch
video
videos,
was "Touch Myself" by K1.
Okay.
Touch myself, just thinking about you.
I don't remember the last video that I watched. I do know that it was Korean.
I hope it wasn't that dang on thing with the mountain people. What was that little song you was stuck in your head about the mountain people?
Oh, ding ding dong dong. That's Chinese, and that's just a TikTok. But no, actually, the last, I don't know if this counts or not, but I know it was a Stray Kids song, and I believe it was Truman. By Stray Kids, Han and Felix. Mm-hmm. And I was watching someone react to it. So it's like, does that count? Mm-hmm. Yes, I watched the video with them, but I was really just watching this reaction channel. So that was the last one I watched. I don't really consume a lot of music videos now. It just doesn't cross my mind.
Well, I just mainly listen to them. It is mainly on Spotify. Mm-hmm. And I could put the video option on, but I'm driving for the most part. So
right. But yeah, I used to love music videos. Used to love them. And I don't know why right now the song "Everybody in the Club Getting Tipsy" is just stuck in my head.
Everybody in the club tipsy. Womp, 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 womp.
You are so stupid. Womp, 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 womp. I swear you ain't got no sense. You ain't got the sense God gave you. I'm so old. Okay, so this is the last thing I wanted to bring up because I thought that it was interesting. I don't know if this actually exists because I don't know if this IG page is just spewing out a bunch of just like AI slop or if people in Korea actually did this.
I hope it ain't about that doll.
No, it's not. Okay. I know what doll you're talking about. No, it's not.
Okay.
This actually would be much better.
Okay.
This says South Korean Gen Z built fake shopping sites that give you the dopamine hit without the bill. It says South Korea's dopamine shopping trend sees Gen Z using fake shopping and delivery apps to feel the thrill of buying without spending money. Since dopamine spikes come from anticipation, these simulations offer stress relief and curb impulse purchases. However, psychologists warn they may still reinforce compulsive shopping habits rather than fix them.
Child, what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if that's true,
times are that hard that we're doing this? We're using virtual window shopping to get dopamine?
I mean, people used actual window shopping for it.
It's not free though, and I know it ain't.
Yes, it's your time, but same as the app.
I'm like, it's just, why do we need an app for that?
Well, when I first saw it, I was like,
I understand the concept. I do.
Yeah, I'm like, based off the concept, I'm like, you know what? I get it. But then I thought about it. I said, but
they're just going to go to a real app now.
Yeah. And for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, the dopamine hit doesn't come from actually making the purchase. If anything, that makes me sad. The dopamine comes from the anticipation of receiving what I purchased. That is what I'm excited about. That's what gets me the dopamine.
You like, so that wouldn't even work on me.
I'm like, so I don't even think that will work. Like, what's gonna show up at my door?
But the thing is, I don't only get joy from shopping. So I don't only get joy from shopping. So
I don't get any joy from shopping. It's like I said, it's after the shopping is done and I have the products, then I feel good. But the actual act of shopping, I cannot stand. I love it. I wish I could have a personal shopper. I love it. But they're too expensive.
Sure are.
And I'm like, ooh, wonder if y'all heard my stomach.
I did. I ain't say nothing.
But yeah, I don't like shopping at all. It's annoying. And honestly, I only do it online. And that's supposed.
I love doing it in person. I don't get why people don't like shopping. I love shopping.
Man, I remember my sister-in-law used to drag me to stores with her. Like she'd tell me like, "Hey, you want to go to the grocery store with me?" Blah blah blah. So we go to the grocery store, and then she'd be like, "Okay, well, we gonna make a quick stop at this department store or whatever." And the whole time I'm just sitting there like, when we leaving?
Why you hold me captive for this? You didn't even need me. Well, be.
Yeah, I hate shopping. I don't know why I have such a huge thing against shopping, but I do not like it.
I don't hate it. I don't buy things I need to buy. That's my problem.
I don't either when I do. Well, yes, I do. Because I buy clothes like once a year.
And I buy them all the time.
Nah, I'm not buying clothes.
I recently bought a flip-flop just for the nostalgia, knowing my foot gonna be hurting after wearing this stupid ass flip-flop. But I'm gonna do it.
Okay. I
already bought them. So if you see me in a flip-flop.
Oh, question for you.
Yes.
So you know how you have, or a lot of companies have, routine check-ins with their staff, right? Mm-hmm. When we had the short come out about me saying that I'm not denying my staff's PTO. All I expect from them is to manage their workload in time so that they get shit done. And somebody had said something like, I'd also add that I also check in with my staff on these, on their workload. And I thought instantly two things. One, I never said that I don't check in with my staff, but I'm like, I also get that I didn't say it either. So sure, that's fair. But then it made me think, in those check-ins, in the check-in with your manager, or if you are the manager with your staff, what are some of the things that are like non-negotiable you need to ask your staff, or as the staff member, you should expect to receive in that check-in?
Well, for one, it's always about productivity. What's going on with each project or whatever y'all got going on? What's the status on that?
Mm-hmm.
Any PTO if you need, so y'all can work around doing that. Because I
Mhm.
don't surprise attack. People don't want to be surprise attacked with PTO.
True.
Like if you've been knowing for 3 weeks you needed that time off, I shouldn't be hearing about it the week of.
Exactly.
And then you asking for it. Like, no.
So me and my staff meet weekly, every Tuesday. And I only have one right now, but we meet every week. And there's a few questions that I ask her at every single check-in. And I think that they should be asked in every single check-in. And if you're not asking these in every single check-in, then what are y'all actually talking about? So I'll ask my staff, where are they on any reports that's coming up due that week or that month?
Mm-hmm.
I always, throughout the call, and I always end the call with, is there anything they need from me?
Of course, that's given.
I always ask them, especially if they're new staff, which my staff is a new staff. I always ask, do you have any concerns with this company, with what you're doing, with anything related to this company that might make you want to leave? And the one thing that I don't think a lot of managers ask their staff about in check-ins that I do, and I think is beneficial, I ask my staff, what are you working on outside of work? And it's not to pry into their personal life, but I want to make sure I've learned through, being that worker that work was my life. I've learned that if you don't have shit going on outside of work,
you're going to crash and burn.
You are going to crash and burn at work. You have to have an outlet outside of work. So me and my staff, she does her little creative thing. She has her YouTube channel and stuff now. And when she first started reporting to me back at the old company, we would talk about that and she'd be like, oh, I don't really do anything. And I was just like, I didn't tell her she needed to. I just said, I would highly recommend finding some type of creative outlet so that you have somewhere to go and decompress after work. And I'm like, I think that is incredibly important. So now she has her YouTube channel. She has her TikTok that she makes her Korean content for. And she has some more stuff. She's actually looking at starting a business now. And I'm like, see, it makes work more bearable. Because let's be for real, my job, her job, everybody's job is stressful. So I'm like, you have to have some kind of outlet.
Or you gonna be in here acting crazy and I'm not in the mood for your crash
for
out.
Real.
I'm not.
And I'm like, and my thought was, if you're not asking, what is that, 5 questions? It's 4 questions. If you ain't talking to your staff about those 4 things in a check-in.
Because that's the point, is where you at, how you feeling, any concerns, how can I help? That's really the meeting, honestly. Literally. That's all it is.
And honestly, I think it's partly because, because you know Gift, and you know how she feels about me.
Yes.
This woman, I don't know how I got her to actually like me so much, but she is like, I am going with you wherever you go. And I'm like, Gift, don't put that kind of responsibility on me.
And girl, don't say that. You may not even feel that way after a couple years. Right. Calm down.
I've told Gift on multiple occasions, I said, Gift, I'm not that great. I promise you I'm not. And
she ain't hearing nothing.
She was like, I talk my sister and my dad, I talk about you all the time at home. I was like, dude, stop talking about me to your family. I'm sure they don't want to hear it. I'm not that great, I promise you.
She ain't going for it.
But she has taken my advice and started her creative outlets and stuff. And she does say that it helps her decompress from work. And I'm like, and that's ultimately what it's about. Now, if you make money from it, if you're able to build a successful business from it, that's just icing on the cake. Yeah. But the whole point is to have something that when you're having a bad day at work, you like, oh, I'm about to just go do my hobby
today.
Yep. I have several, which we all know. I have the podcast. I have my art. I have my K-dramas. I have all kinds of shit that I use as my way to decompress from the day. But when that guy said like he also asks for updates, I'm like, yes. Like
my thought was, well, that's a given. It shouldn't have to be said. Of course, what is the point of a weekly meeting if you're not even asking for updates? What is the point of this?
Yeah.
What is the point of this?
Somebody actually said that they don't like that management style because he feels it sets the staff up for failure. And I'm just like, look.
I don't know how somebody asking you what you're working on and if you need help with it and how they can help you.
Where I said I don't care what my staff does. I don't care what time they come to work. I don't care what days they take off. And I was like, I told my staff that, what did I say? That I don't care about any of that. But the second y'all miss a deadline on something y'all knew y'all were supposed to do, that's on you.
And it is.
And he was like, that's giving too much rope and freeing them up to fail. And I'm just like,
and to me, that is a micromanager and a bad manager who will feel that way. Like, no, trying to restrict people does not get better results. People are actually more productive in that type of environment than in a super controlled one. They're less productive in a micromanaging place. They get less dumb. So I'm like, because at the end of the day, if they have that much freedom, it's no time for nothing not to get done. Everything should be done. You got plenty of time to get it done.
Here's the thing with micromanaging. I was the micromanager before. At Evelyn, I had to micromanage them. One, they were hourly staff, so I had to make sure that their time was being accounted for since they were working on an hourly basis. And on top of that, I worked for a call center where, I'm sorry, but a lot of the time, especially the people that had to be on the phones, it was like wrangling children. Like they always tried to find some reason to not be logged into their phones. And I had to go searching for people to tell them to go get on the phone. People that knew that their schedule was supposed to start at 8 a.m., which means you're supposed to be logged into the phone at 8 a.m., would send a message. I saw you here at 7:30. The little cafeteria downstairs has been open since 7, but you wait until 8 o'clock to put in the chat that, oh, I'm going to get breakfast. Oh, I'm going to the bathroom. No, you're not. Like, sit your ass down and log in. This is what you're being paid for. Like, yes, I had to some extent micromanage them because, again, they were trying not to be on the phone, and I needed to make sure that they were on the phones.
I told you about that time she tried to lie and say I yelled at her and wrote her in all caps because I nicely IM'd her. I was like, hey, girl, notice you not in the queues. Jump in this queue for me.
Get in the queue.
And she told my boss that I yelled at her through email.
So, like...
But some people have to be micromanaged. Not everybody can be free.
And that's what I said. I'm like, micromanaging has its place. Some people have to do it. But best believe, especially for salaried people, or the way I think micromanaging should be used. Micromanaging is the thing that comes before that final disciplinary action, which is firing. Because usually the PIP involves some kind of micromanaging because you have to constantly be on them to make sure that they're progressing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, once you get to the managing phase, start looking for another job because you just about to go.
Because they finna replace you.
Mm-hmm. But my thing is, if you are micromanaging every staff member you have just off GP, all you doing is pissing off your good workers.
And you making your job harder.
And you making your job harder because at the end of the day, the bad workers is just going to take advantage of you because they know you micromanaging them and they know that all they got to do is fuck up one thing and you just going to fix it. So it's a win for them too. And you know who's losing all the way around? You. Because you want to micromanage them. So I'm like, I'm sorry. I have people that are well into their 20s. I mean, maybe not well into their 20s. Gift is only like, what, 22, 23?
Yeah, she ain't well.
But either way, adults. You are an adult. And I'm sorry if your parents didn't teach you responsibility and how to manage your own shit. But I don't think it's unfair to say that before anything else, I set the expectation with my staff that if you fuck up by your own actions when you knew what to do and you chose not to, it is not unfair to say you and you alone will suffer the consequences of that.
Rolling you right over with that bus and reversing on your ass.
Let's also be for real. It's never just them alone because best believe I'm being talked to too. So, but do I necessarily need to tell my staff that? No, that's not their business. But it is their business that they caused an issue and that needs to be addressed. I'm not going to sit here and hold my staff's hands that's been with the company for years, knows exactly what they need to do, knows exactly how to do it. I'm not about to be checking in with you every other day, like, hey, just want to make sure that report is it good to go? I asked you about it 2 days ago, and I know you said it was good then too, but, you know, and I know it ain't due till like next week, but I just want to check again.
For no reason.
I'm not doing that because you know what? I got my own shit to do too. Supervisors, managers, whatever, they also have a workload that they have to maintain. And usually that's a lot larger than the staff's.
You're like, please, just do the job.
Just be responsible. Do your job.
And if you ain't gonna make the deadline, just let me know before the deadline. Before.
Dude, I've had so many people not hit deadlines and literally had been checking in with them. Hey, are we good for this date? Are we good for this date? I remember one, we had to have, at the last company I worked at. Now, this person didn't report to me, but they did have to do work for my contracts. And there's these things we call binders, even though they were electronic, they didn't used to be, but they would be thousands of pages of invoices that we would have to review to make sure, and we would have to review them, make sure that they were all in line, cut out any outliers, and then average it all to get what we call the reimbursement rate. And there was a first review, a second review, and then a manager review. And there was one analyst who, oddly enough, just got promoted to manager. And by the way, this was all within a year. So if that tells you whether he should have been promoted or not. And at this time he was a senior analyst and he was assigned the first review of these binders. And I'm checking in with him because he's also he's not local. So the only way to really talk to him is via the phone or Teams. So I'm checking in with him throughout this whole time. They get a month to do these binders. And I'm checking in with him, sending them messages. Hey, these are due this day. I know these are large binders. Let me know if you need any help. Then like the week before they're due, check in with him again. Hey, just checking in, making sure we're still good for next week's deadline. He says we're good. Sure as shit stank. Sure as motherfucking shit stank.
The day of.
Literally, it was like the day before. He messaged me telling me, I don't think I'm going to finish. What do you mean you ain't going? Looks like you about to be online later then. Because what you mean you ain't? I've been checking in with you on this
whole time.
Throughout the whole time. And never once did you communicate with me that you would not be able to hit this deadline. It's always been on track. We're good. So why now are you trying to tell me that we not going to hit this deadline?
On the 11th hour and 59th minute.
And it still got 2 other reviews it needs to get through. You tripping. You need to make sure it get done. I don't care how you need to get it done. That's on you, sir. You had every opportunity to speak up.
I've been talking to you every week about
hard head make a soft ass. That's my saying. So he fucked around and found out. You need to be logged in later then. I'm sorry.
You thought you was going home? You salary.
And I'm sorry. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable because, like I said, he'd known before the review for those binders even came about. So knew about them, knew it was coming weeks before it was coming. I had been checking in with him throughout the whole process. And it's all been good. It's all been gravy. And then the day before, I don't think look like you about to be online late then.
I got 200 pages.
Looking for help now. So you want me to pull other analysts off of things that they are doing that's also due. And I'm like, people could have been helping you.
This whole time.
The whole fucking time. Hell, I could have been helping you. I'm like, but now, because also I managed most of the contracts for that company. Now. And a lot of my contracts had these reviews around the same time. So I already got 3 other clients that has the manager reviews ready that I need to do. So I don't even have the capacity to step in and help you now. But yet you're coming to me the day before this is due and telling me you need to stay on late then. Because I'm not changing the date. We're past the point where we can change the date. We could have changed the date a week ago when I was asking you about this. So I didn't feel bad.
No, I'm like, what happened to you?
Those are your consequences based off your actions. I don't feel bad.
I'm throwing you under the bus. Oh, I'm throwing you right under the bus.
And we not about to be late. So you need to do something to figure it out. Adult.
Make a friend. Because I'm not assigning nobody to help you. You better make a friend.
You better reach out to your peers. You reach out to your peers. Say, hey, is there anybody that can take a certain number of pages? Delegate. Like, come on now. So, yeah, that's just my little rant. I just don't think that I don't like the whole micromanaging shit. I don't like it.
But it's not.
I don't think people love it. I think people have just gotten so used to it that to hear about something that's not micromanaging, they get a little nervous.
Which is weird because before they were leadership, they were the people being micromanaged and didn't like it. So why would you then get promoted and then do that? That doesn't make any sense.
Because that's all they know.
Please, get a book. Get a book on business leadership. You'll find some different styles.
I said, somebody was like, that's not how management works. I said, first of all, there's no one way to manage.
Just whatever works for you and your staff. That's what you're
doing. And again, I don't mind people disagreeing with me, but if you're going to disagree with me, at least provide some logical reasoning. Don't just hit me with, that ain't how management work. Okay.
For where you're at. What y'all doing, whatever that is.
Whatever that is. So I'm like, let's have an actual conversation because at the end of the day, we're all supposed to be adults, right? So if you feel that ain't how management works, why so?
They don't want to debate. They just want to say something to disappear.
And I don't even think it's a debate. It's just a conversation. Because you ain't trying to change my mind. I ain't trying to change yours.
That ain't how that works. Okay.
Okay. All right. I just responded back with, there's no one way to manage somebody.
But do what you do.
Do you.
Over there.
All the way over there. So, anywho, that's my take on micromanaging. I don't agree with it. And I've told multiple people I will never micromanage full-grown adults that know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, when it needs to be done, and how to do it. Now it's different if I get somebody that has mental health issues or something like that, and they might need some micromanaging.
Well, that's not the
same. That's different. But these are fully able-bodied adults that knows what responsibility is and know the responsible actions to take. If they choose not to, they will suffer the consequences of their actions. and not Jocelyn A. Because I got to keep my job too. So, but anywho, hopefully y'all like this too. I feel like I say that every episode. I need to find something else to say.
Hope y'all like it.
Hope y'all like, because that's all I can say. Like,
that's all we can do.
This was a nice hangout session, as per usual, at our normal spot, normal time. Make sure on YouTube that you are doing the things like comment, subscribing,
share.
And on the audio platforms like Spotify, Apple, Chrome, make sure you are liking, commenting, sharing there, and
rating and reviewing.
Rating and reviewing. All 5 stars, all good comments.
Please.
Yeah, I think that's about it for the CTAs. But yeah, if you guys want to join in on our no spend month, let us know. Put it in the comments, and maybe we'll just like make this like a whole big group thing, because I think it would be good.
Saving money
especially
won't
good
hurt.
For us to start doing stuff as a community. So let's start that. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next one. Deuces.
Bye, friends.